I had a story in my heart, but I didn't know where to start. Every sentence felt wrong, every draft fell apart. Sat staring at the page like it owed me something, but the words...
So hello everyone and welcome to Deep Dive. Oh no, Quick Start. It's Quick Start today, right? It's a Quick Start Sudowrite in non-English languages. My name is Dalia and I've been using Sudowrite since March 2023, so it's 3 years now, to plan, write and revise my novels, primarily in German. My main genres are fantasy and queer romance. I'm excited to be hosting this session alongside Manon Doucette, a passionate writer and teacher from Canada. But before we dive in, Manon, why don't you introduce yourself to everyone quickly?
Thank you, Dalia. My name is Manon Doucette. I'm an published author. I do children books, middle grade, young adult. I have a vast array of genre, and I have a publishing house with different author, not just me. But we do go from children book to nonfiction to science fiction, thriller, and self-help. So quite a big array. Even have coloring books. Forgot about those.
Oh. Yeah,
so I've
that's
been
really
I've been with Sudowrite before you, Dalia. So I'm on my 4th year. Time flies.
Yeah, that's really true. And a lot of things have changed in the meantime. That's also one reason why these classes are so helpful, I think.
Yeah. What's about
And
you? What you have to show us? You says you have something new to show us.
Well, let's just jump through the next slides before we get there. But this is a quick start session. So it's for everyone who's new or returning and will show you how to work in your language quite effectively. And we have some topics prepared, but this is mostly focused on your questions. So hopefully the Q&A part will be the biggest part of the class. Let's see if this turns out. But let's start up with our topic today. As you probably noticed, the AI in Sudowrite often defaults to English. And the reason is quite simple. For one, we have a lot of English training data. And since AI works with what's called, now I'm the loss of word, probability. So the probability to get English is the highest if most data that you learned with is English. So English is the language that understands best. That's also the reason why English prompts are often understood more reliably. Or English answers are often more sophisticated. At least in my opinion, they are often better than what I get in German. And additionally, Sudowrite uses background prompts to steer the AI in a direction where the output is more usable for fiction writers. As a result, tools may revert back to English unless specifically told otherwise. This means that strong language anchoring here is the key. And the magical prompt, the solution to all this, is what you want to jot down. That's write all content in your language. This is especially helpful in the story Bible, where you build the backbone of your story. And so that you know what I'm talking about, we'll be heading over to Sudowrite right now. And the story Bible is this little thing here in the middle. And this place where you store all your story information, from a general brain dump to genre style, synopsis, characters, world building, and your outline. The story Bible can be a bit fickle when it comes to generating text in non-English languages. But the write out content in your language prompt is the prompt that worked most reliably so far. But since generating everything takes a while, we would skip this today. Just be aware that you should be putting the prompt in the brain dump box, genre, style, and once it's generated, also in the synopsis box, to make sure that everything that the story Bible will generate for you, and later that the draft will be writing, or the write button, that all of this will be reliably generated in your language. So instead of playing around with the story Bible, we'll be playing around a little bit with the right button and a few prompts I wanted to show you. First, a little intro to the right button. It offers you two main modes, that's auto write and guided write. And depending on how much guidance you want to give the AI, you would choose one of them. Auto write will look at the story in given context and decide on its own how to continue, while with guided write, you can give it a prompt to work with. And in the write settings down here, you can choose how creative write should be. Creativity in this context relates to how much freedom the AI has. With the lowest creativity setting, it follows your instructions closely and sticks to genre conventions. At 100% creativity, it will give you outputs that are more unique and surprising. One great thing about write is that you have a little bit more control over the length of the output you're getting. So if you're stuck and just need a sentence, you can go down with 50 words. And if you feel a little bit more adventurous or have a strong sense of what should happen next, you can go for 500, 1,000, or even 1,500 words, or max words, which can give you up to 2,000. If you want to reinforce the language, hello, Alexander. And okay, if you want to reinforce your language, the place where you could do this is here in the key details. This is not necessary if you already gave the information in the style box, but if you opt to not use the story Bible, this is the best place to put the magical prompt. But let us first see what happens if we do not use any language anchoring at all. And we'll just take a little prompt for this, and we'll stick with excellent, which is usually a good tool for multilingual writing. And since I write German and understand German, my examples will be German for now, but we can try other languages later on. So I would put this in here in guided write. Beschreibe einen verlassenen Bahnhof im Nebel, which translate to describe like a train station in the fog, like a desolated, isolated train station. Now, some of the newer models are already quite clever. They may pick up that we want this to be in German since the prompt is in German, but it's always like a 50-50 chance what kind of output we'll get. And here we see, for some reason, we have a chapter 5, which is already fun. And we can also see, dang, it's all in English. So just giving it input in German is apparently not enough. So the thing that you can do is to tell it a little bit more. Like a stronger variation of the same prompt would go something like this. Like write the scene in German only. And then basically the same as before, beschreibe einen verlassenen Bahnhof im Nebel, describe a abandoned station in the fog. And
Do you have a problem with your internet, or is that just me having a hard time to hear?
this is
I think it's on her end because the audio is
naturally
probably here also.
Okay.
not because I hope so.
Yeah, you froze. You froze, and it was very, very choppy. So we could not understand anything you said. Oh, she's frozen again.
Okay, oh no.
Do you want to restart or check your internet?
Okay. sure if I can do much about my internet since I'm in a public place. So
Okay, turn off your camera at least, so maybe that will save a bit.
I just turned this off. So this hopefully will help with my connection.
Let's see if that works.
Okay, is it better? Can you hear me better now?
Yes.
Okay, then you will certainly not be able to see me anymore, but hopefully you will hear me. So I'm not sure at which point you stopped understanding me. So I just go back to what I'm currently describing. So we had this prompt that didn't work out, that we had just given it in German. So this stronger prompt would have write the scene in German only as instruction at the beginning.
Mhm.
And then basically Schreiber
No, you're coming choppy again.
lassen Bahnhof im Nebel, which is the same prompt as before, like to describe an abandoned sounding German. The same. I just that if I repeat myself slowly often enough, you will grasp what I'm saying.
Oh boy, what's happened? Okay, seems like we have a small problem with Dahlia.
Hi, I'm back.
Okay. Well, we lost your
I
screen.
was kicked out. Yeah, my screen should be back again.
Okay.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
I hope that now that I've reconnected, and I'm really sorry, I hate when internet trouble happens because you can never really do something about it. But let's go back to what I was saying. In this case, I had added a little bit more information about the prompt. It's like, it should be here again, like to write the scene in German only, describe an abandoned train station, yada, yada, and then choose natural sounding German. And this time, the output is in German. And just reading over it also sounds quite good. And really like natural sentences. So just reinforcing what you want, you can make a huge difference. Okay. Another fun thing to do that you can easily do with AI is sprinkle in different languages in a text, which may be useful if you have a character that is bilingual. In English language books, I often see this with Spanish-speaking characters, which reminds me of my Spanish stepmom and her frustrated "Ay, hija," whenever my sister does something that annoys her. But it's also a fun thing to use different languages, not just for flavoring, but to keep secrets, like with the following prompt. That I'd also like to try and see how well this works. Our excellent. A mother and a grandmother. And grandmother is German, and often it's German idioms slip into her speech. And the woman only understands English, but her mother and grandmother sometimes speak German to hide information from her. And to ask AI to mix languages is also a good way to figure out how well they really funny results when you're using this. And while this is generating, I hope you can all still hear me.
On and off.
On and off. Okay. Okay. Sorry, I just was looking at the examples you got. And as you can see here,
Is that what you were looking for? English?
yeah, Oma Gertrude, her grandma. Yeah, English text with sprinkled in German idioms. And the funny thing here is that this is something I have never heard in my whole life, but it makes sense. It's funny. Like, promises are like cakes made to be broken. I've never heard this said ever before in my life. But it's a funny thing to add in there. We have other little things in here, like calling her Mamuti or something. And that's just like a funny thing to make a scene more authentic if you're working with characters that are bilingual and use different languages regularly in their speaking. Okay, let's take a look at the clock, how much time I still have. Because something else I wanted to show you, and I just skipped this little part for another while, is how you can use plugins in your process. For one, a lot of plugins we have here have been built by other users and they tend to default to English output. Something you can do to help with that is adding the magical prompt either to your highlighted text or to use it, or depending on whether the plugin uses user input, you can also add your question, which language you want for this, in this input. But something you can also use, and which I would like to show you now, is using a two-stage plugin. Since something that I've noticed with brainstorming is that often, if you let the model first brainstorm in English, you get fresher and better results. And then you can just go and ask it to translate your output from English to German, or whatever your language is. And to do this, to create a plugin, you simply have to go here and click Create a Plugin. And then you tell it what you want this plugin to do for you. In this case, something like this plugin suggests 3 ideas of how the highlighted scene can go horribly wrong. This is a two-stage plugin. It should first brainstorm in English and then translate your ideas into German. When you click Generate Plugin, it will create the plugin for you. This may take a few minutes. Scene disaster generator, that sounds fun. Okay, since this is like the overview that you get once you've done this. And here you can decide whether you want your plugin to be public or not. And since this is just for the class and I'm not gonna work in detail on it, I just put it on private. And then here you will have the system prompt, which essentially tells the AI how to act, and the user prompt, which gives it instructions. And in this case, it would first analyze the scene, then it would identify ways how this could go wrong. And as I just see here, it did not add in the part where it should translate everything to German. When I tested this on my other account, it did so, but that's still something that you can just add in. In a later step. Because in this case, if you run this as an example, and I just go and head over to get an example scene for us to work with. Let's just take this one. You can test your plugin by just putting test material in here and then hitting run test. And first, let's look if it's even doing what we want to do in general. it comes up with 3 ways how this scene can go wrong. But what it doesn't do is translate it to German. Boo, you didn't work the way it should do. But therefore, we have this prompt stage in here. And we can add another stage for this prompt and give it a system prompt that goes something like, oh no, this one. You're a specialist in translation of literature and to translate accurately in natural language and without losing any information. And then this was the output of the first prompt, and then you just tell it to please translate this to German. And to see if it works, you can just run another test. It will first give you the first output. And then you should see it doing the second round. So it will give you the output in German. You could also ask it directly to translate, to give you every output in German. But something that I like about using it is as a 2-stage plugin is that this way I can use different models in the first prompt and the second prompt, since some models are not good with foreign language, with non-English languages. Like, for example, Kimi K had some issues with it, but I think that generally it has some fun ideas, like this Kimi K thing here. And you can just use this for the thinking part of the first prompt. And then for the translation, use a model where you like the language output. Personally, I tend to go for Claude models, preferable Sonnet. And so I'd go for this one. Run the test, and then I get like the creativity from the thinking model that's not good in German. And the language from the other language model that gives me good language output. And that's a way that you can lean into the fact that AI often brainstorms and thinks better in English than it does in other languages.
Don't forget to save it if you want to keep it.
Yes, you also have to save it, but it's still running a
No,
test.
running, yeah. You
Kimi
didn't.
K is just very slow. It's a very slow thinking model, so I fear it will
Did you
need
click?
a little bit before. Yeah. Kimi, it's a very slow thinking model, I fear. But if you want to keep it, yeah, save it as a plugin. It probably should not have chosen Kimi K. I just saved it like with error saving. Oh, it does not have it has not have a unique name because I already had this as a test plugin in my other account. So it's not complaining. Oh, but here, it started thinking. The medical emergency. Oh my God, like this is like Jan's lips pressed tight at Omar's fabricated pro-work, not in disapproval, but in terror, because the real German saying is something else. Like a broken promise is like stealing a family heirloom. And but I think this is really funny that it brings in the German part that it messed up. And then here you'll get the output in German, translated by our lovely, what's it called? excellent, I think. I think Sonnet.7 was the one I chose. And now we can save it. And we'll have it here along our tools. I think, yes, down here, our scene disaster generator. And can use this on any highlighted text we want to use it on from now on. And that way you can use plugins to basically bend Sudowrite to your own needs and make it so that it works the way you want it to use and not only rely on the standard tools. So you can really make it your own by using plugins. Okay, and that's basically everything that I wanted to show you. And considering my unreliable internet connection, I gladly hand over to Manon now to see what he has in store for us today.
No problem. First, I'd like to ask or say welcome to Alexander. Alexander is, yes, the recording is going to be through Sudowrite. Eventually, I will put it on my YouTube. I'm a bit very demo on that. What I'd like to know, Alexander, what do you need help on? What is your question, or what is it that you like us to show you?
Hello, everyone. Yeah, thank you so much, Manon, for the welcome. Let me just keep the camera switched off because the connection is not perfect. Yeah, actually, I think it would be good to. Right now I'm attending both classes in English, like for the writing in English, and I was also curious about this class because I do use other languages, my mother tongue, and sometimes, which is Russian, sometimes Spanish. What I would be curious or to know or most interested in is to learn basically how you like the main settings, how you tell the algo, the model to to structure the browse, how you basically make sure that it is the form that you want. Let's say you want something of a short form, but the AI starts writing like a first chapter of a very long novel. So how do you avoid this? And yeah, like in general, what do you do to ensure that the AI follows your instructions?
Thank you for that question. The answer is not an easy one. Someday the AI is going to listen. Someday the AI know how to count. Most of the time it doesn't. You can always put in the prompt what you're looking for. So first things, this is the magic prompt that we ask everyone that write in other language to use. As personally, as an author which write in French, and I'm going to have to go to the door because I know there's a box coming up. There is this right button where you can put the setting, and right in the bottom here in the key details, this is where you put that famous magic prompt or command. From here, make sure you know what you're writing in, so you have your creativity at the level you want. Choose the number of cards, which is this one here, and the number of words you like to come up with. So if you're doing some testing, don't go and use the max words. Once you're comfortable with the output, then you can go up in your words and get more words. But this magic sentence here is the most important one right now in Spanish, in German, in French. So I will change it and put it in, sorry, I'm very distracted because there's that FedEx trucks, which is at the door. Can you take over for a second, Dalia?
Yes, I can take over for a second. Okay, let's see. I think, let's see. What she was just showing you was how to like use this here. How you can put, in your case, the prompt like write all content in Russian. And the key details, this will override the usual setting where it would just give you what's it called? English output.
Ah, you change it
Yeah, I just thought that I'd show him that
Russia.
he can just put it like that way. And you can go back now, because I didn't really know what to say without screen.
Okay, all right. So I did share this part of this document here, which has a lot of information explaining to you why the AI is a bit complicated to get it to change language, because it is. They use it and they teach the AI in English. They don't teach in the other language, but the AI is definitely intelligent. We all know that. So there is a few exercises here that we can do together, but I want to make sure I can answer some of his question there. So to start with, let's see if I can start with one of those. Give me a creative way to say, oh yeah, those are very cool to use too. How to get names which belongs to your language, city and the year, which basically the era. Same thing with the dialogue tag and things like that. So asking the AI to give you this information. This brings me to one free tool that we can use in your language. So
Next.
just make sure that Alexander knows that the chat here, you can ask any question in the chat and it's going to answer you in your language. As long as you write it in your language, it's going to answer you in your language. It's very, very useful now that we have these tools. You know to use that tools, Alexander?
Sorry, which tool? You mean the chat?
This one here, the chat here where I have my cursor.
Yes, yes.
So you know this question by example. We can
I just want to add one thing about the chat right now. Since the chat you're seeing right now with Menor is still in the beta phase, so yours will look a little bit different. So don't worry, that will look a little different than what you see. The general chat still works the same. Just so you know that you're not confused if you don't see create my outline, because that's a feature that's still to come to everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is not yet for everyone, but this works definitely.
So let's see if we can get this by example. If 10 names character born in Montreal in 2010, avoid stereotype name, population realistic for that. All in French. I could have put everything and ask all in French. So hopefully it's going to give me everything in French. It is slow. So what am I sharing? Am I sharing the Sudowrite? Yeah. No. Sorry, I'm kind of sharing everything here. Just want to get my prompt over here. Did you give me an answer yet? There we go. So here's a 10 name. So Léa is in French. The answer is in English. Rosalie is French. Florence is French. So he understood half of it, and he answered me in Quebec. Then we have Felix, which is French. Samuel, Xavier, Raphael, and Emile. Talking about the government of Quebec. So you get good information here if you want to do a story based on Quebec or Montreal, how things are going on with the government and things like that, and names from this era, 2010, what kind of name they were giving to children at the time. So it's a nice way to get names and things like that. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to bring the other information that I want to play with here. I want to start something that we can work with and try to get those question answer. So active target development editor, I want you to build a story. Okay, so I'm going to use this question here. I can put it like Dalia likes to do. I can put it in a new document on the right, or I can put it right here in the chat and ask the chat to do it. And obviously the chat though, that's one problem. You cannot go and correct in it. So you have to get everything corrected. So the target language will be, let's go in French because I understand French. Let's see if we can give it in Français domaine editor set in the region. We're going to keep Montreal. The setting, we'll say the old port of Montreal. Based on the language, again, we're going to bring Français. Culture norm, identify three potential social conflict. It's get nuance. And here, what I like this part over here is when it comes to dialogue in other language, like in French, I'm not sure about the other one, we have you come in two different versions, the single version and the plural. So tu is single and vous is the plural version. And this one is in Spanish. So the Spanish has the same thing that we have in French. So I don't know, do you have that too in German?
Yeah, we also have like du and sie as like formal versus informal versus formal addressing. It's so much easier in English where you just have you. So, and yeah, we have this as well.
I believe it's also you know linked to the dialectal and whatever regional differences. Like in Spanish, they have besides in addition to tu and usted, they also use vos. So it's complicated. I hope that AI really knows those differences.
So here's explaining to me all the information I asked. The sad thing is they gave me everything in English. So what do you think that I forgot to get everything in French? This nice little item here, which, oops, easy. Okay, going to do it by hand. So write all content in French. So if I redo this, it should give me everything in, oops, in French, with basically the same explanation it gave me here. is going to give it to me in French. So how easy it is to say we are writing something in French and it's the location and everything else, but it does answer everything about the question in English. But as soon as you put that write all content in French, it's going to write everything in French. Basically, it's very, very similar to what's above. So that little thing is very, very interesting to get. So I'm going to ask here to do a nice synopsis based on the above. And I will ask French, s'il vous plaît, écris-moi this. Pour information. And before you ask, I have Grammarly and I have DeepL connected to my internet or my web, which give me the translation and those correction. All right, so it's giving me a small story here. Le pont, the bridge, that's in the old port of Montreal, like I asked. We have Rosalie, so he took the name that we asked above. So he read back. It's giving me the right territory. There is other language going on in that story. So there's Anglophone and Francophone in that story. It's giving me the arc narrative à travers une série de rencontres. So many people is going to meet in different places and things like that. It's giving me the realistic tone and all. Okay. So let's say I'm happy with this. We're going to bring that inside our story Bible. Normally I put everything in my brain dump, which is probably a good idea. So I will take this. And because I want to keep all the name that I asked earlier, I'm going to go get those too. So this is the information. So this information here can become also a plugin or extra instruction. So I'm giving the instruction here in the brain dump, hoping that the AI will understand everything I'm asking for. So we copy this one and I want all the names now. That was the very first one where I ask all those names. So I'm going to get and copy these one here. Okay. So the brain dump is basically where we put everything we know about the story. Everything that we know about the story goes there. And that's normally what we used to do in the past to write a story. We're putting everything inside this brain dump to let the AI what we are writing about. So I don't know what's the genre of this story. One thing we know though, it's we want to write all content in French. So for you it would be Spanish or German or the other one you put in the chat. So this, you try to put it in all the box. Still, we haven't have any luck on getting that drop down as yet to choose a language through the system. Okay. Do you have any questions during walking and doing all that in the same time?
Yeah, Alexandra asked, how is it good at adjusting to different styles of writing prose? Like I imagine that French has its own styles of writing that do not necessarily match with English.
Exactly. So that's why I'm trying to get to this point here. So we're going to do social commentary as engine. But to find a good genre here, contemporain with a strong, okay. Let's use this as a genre. The writing style, I will leave it as that for now. Once I get to my prose, this is where I will go and change that writing style and say I'm writing in French Canadian from Montreal, year 2010. I will put it in here so that my prose come out properly. So I'm going to get him to do a synopsis for me. And it should come out in French. I did click, right? So as you can see, it's giving me Rosalie 24, Rive Sud, pour travailler comme une serveuse dans un restaurant du Vieux-Port de Montréal. So that's Rosalie who's coming to the old port on the south side, who's going to go and work in a restaurant. So it's a very short synopsis, but for what we need to do today, it's good. Again, we're going to take this here. We're going to put it in the synopsis because I want to get my character, and hopefully it's going to give them in French. We have a very short synopsis, but we also have character in the other box. So maybe it's going to give me more character there. The world building, I have a much different way to go about it. I don't go element by element. Normally, I work my synopsis to the point that I'm happy with. Then I bring it, or I ask here, which I will try to do right now. Please give me all the world building necessary to write a bestseller in French. So the chat should go and get all the information we have here, and it should show us the chiclet. Does it still show the chiclet? I have to wait until we finish this though. Did you do something? Okay. I'm just waiting for these to be created to give a chance to the world building to have the information. So we have Rosalie, Félix Breton, Émile Caron, Gilles, Nadia. That's definitely not in French. Maud is Oliver, or Olivier. Anaïs, that's her old name. François, Mireille. So we have pretty much all, beside this one, this is not a French name. There must be a story inside that story that support that name in here. So let's ask that word building. And at the same time, I'm going to check. So he gave me all my information on my character in my language in French. And it's still going here. It's giving me things in French. So once these little prompts are given in the right spot, in the right language, right away, in the right time, normally everything goes perfectly fine. Now, what I do with my world building, if I'm happy with what is giving me here, and let's see what I have, at least, oh, it's still writing. It's adding a lot of information. That's what I like about the fact that if you do everything one by one, it's giving you an intensive answer. Okay, so I'm going to copy this. I'm not going to play with it right now. It's just to give the idea on how I do it, because I want everything in the word building. And because I go from a story which we just invented, I don't know what's going on beside Montreal, the old port, and the name of my character. The rest, it's, I don't know. So I'm going to import. When we import, we put the text in here. As you can see, everything is in French, but just to make sure, I'm going to add again, right? Oh, content in French. And import. It's going to go and clean up everything I put there because there's stuff which doesn't belong. So it's going to give me all those cards. And as you can see, it does accept everything, even though it goes into the writing. If you don't see the go, that's because you have too many cards. So let's see, we go and say that's fine because it gives me everything that you can get. And I just click go. If there's something I don't like, I just click on the X and remove that card and it's not going to get produced. And hopefully I get into the prose quickly so I can show you the difference with the language going on. But did you understand, Alexander, that once you get to the prose in your style box, you go change how you want things to be written? Not everything got. Some stuff is in English, some stuff is in French. Interesting. So this part is in French. This is in English. That's in French. So some of the things are in French and some of the things are in English. So half and half seems like. But this is how I go and create a good world building start that you can add and remove cards at any time. Yeah, some are in English, some are in French. There's more French than in English, so it's a good thing. With more time, I will go and check what happened and why things are in a different language. But because of the timing, I don't want to go crazy on this. We see the culture of Quebec. We see the culture is international too, so there's a story around the language. Then we have also the franc-anglais. So that's going to be 3 different culture and more. There's a lot of culture in that story around the language, because as you know, it's probably the same thing for you. When you go from city to city or province to province or state to state, they have a different English, a different German, a different Spanish, that it's not everywhere the same. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to create quickly a novel outline. In that time, can we get out of here and not lose anything? So here now, because I'm ready to go and write in the proper language, this is when I go in here and I says, write our content in French, Canadian, Canadian, here, 200 or 2000. I could give more information as I go off the top of my head. Right now, I don't know what else to add off the top of my head. If someone has an idea of what else I can put in the style to save time, he's going to start talking.
Outline.
So he's still doing the outline. Hopefully I didn't mess it up, because sometimes when you change things in the middle of something, that may actually mix the AI a bit. Yes, it is helpful to repeat that he everywhere, because it really forces the AI to go and write in the language. And if you do it the proper way, in the right step, like I just did, your character come out in French. We force the AI to give us the world building in French. There is 3/4 in French and 1/4 seems to be in English, but we need that to force it to go and write in the language you're looking for. Boy, It's almost there. If you had question too, we could ask more question over here. We can ask about the language. We can ask about which writing style will be the best. So, quel style d'écriture devrait utiliser pour écrire un best. So what I'm asking here is basically, what is the best writing style can I use to write a bestseller? All right. Yeah, let's see. During is doing that, you can chat with chat and it costs nothing. Doesn't give me access. We're asking too much, I guess. So here's giving me an answer about, I'm having a hard time with prose direct and corporel, ce qui marche, des phrases. Try to see what was the recent activity. So chat 0, the word import was building was 0, detection of the word building 0, the chat is 0. Character is what cost me the most right now. The synopsis was very cheap. 5 chat at 0, and that's what I was working on this morning. And still working on the outline. Oh. You have a question during the outline or someone left? Yeah, she had to leave. Now that's one of the problem we have. It's taking so long to generate some item, and the outline is one of the one who take the longest. So to get this done in the language we're looking for takes even longer. Do you want to stay a bit longer and wait, Alexander and Jess? Oh, there you go. When you say something, this scares the AI. Okay, now we're talking. So we have everything in French. How many chapter we have? 22. Let's go. We're going to start writing the first chapter and see if we can help you with a few things. I'll click on this, and I think you already know that. One thing I want to make sure in my outline, I'm going to write this magic prompt in here. And I'm going to go get the one that I asked inside my style. Because I want it to write in the language that I want or I need. Okay, so let's go back up. Here it should show up. Once you do an update, it shows up over here. Let's see if we can create some scene very quickly. During that time, you go in the extra. Before we cannot do anything, now we can. Let's pass this again. This is where it's very important for you to put the style of language you want in the extra instruction. In the same time, if you have, how many words would you like each scene to be, or the maximum words you want for your chapter? Is he still with us? Oh, he's gone. Okay, so he's going to see that on the recording. So I'm going to do that, and after that, I'm going to close down. So I'm not going to go crazy with the number of words. There we go. So everything is in French, and it's in the right French because I can read very quickly in French how things goes. News doesn't go in French or in other language. Some people say yes, with like it's like a throw of the dice. For me, I just go in here and I go get the sonnet. Very soon, this one's supposed to go away. So let's try it anyway and see what it's going to do. We have 2000. I have this the same thing, and then I'm having the same problem here that I have in my author account. It's not, it doesn't see the scenes. I will have to tell Sudowrite I'm having the same problem and send them the video. So for this, for me, I'm going to stop right here because it's going to only generate the first one. So I'm glad that he's doing the same thing in both of my accounts. Do you have the same problem, Jess?
I've not seen it, but then I've been busy doing the edit for my book that I had to get out to Amazon today. So I haven't been doing as much active work in Sudowrite over the last couple of days.
Yeah. It's giving me something pretty good, all in French and someone speaking English. So the dialogue was in English. There's definitely Québécois, pure French and English. But you see, it's going to do scene number 2, or it's going to stop. Yeah, it's going to stop. And then here, even though if I go and put this there, I can do nothing. So I'm stuck here. I cannot go any farther anyway, unless I'm doing something that I missed. Do you see anything I miss?
Nothing comes to mind, no.
Okay, so I have the same problem here than in my other account. All right, so on this, I'm going to say thank you, everyone. I'm going to stop the recording on that. And my name is Manon Doucette, and my co-host was Dalia. And our helper here was also Jess. So thank you very much, and we'll see you next month.
Gather round, it's that time of year. With laughter and love, let's spread some cheer. Grab a book and hold it tight, sharing stories by the firelight. Let's read and celebrate the holidays. With every page we find new ways. Hands together, let the stories flow. In this season of joy, let our hearts grow. Children's laughter fills the air with magic tales that we can share. From Marie's words to Manon's dreams, every story glows and beams. Let's read and celebrate the holidays. With every page we find new ways. Hands together, let the stories flow. In the season of joy, let our hearts grow. Oh, the world is wide with tales untold. Adventure awaits in each book we hold. As pages turn and spirits soar high, in every chapter let your hopes fly. Let's read and celebrate the holidays. With every page we find new ways. Hands together, let the stories flow. In the season of joy, let our hearts grow.